back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Pop Culture Cosmos, inside sports, fantasy football, and the Lakers fast break. Truly appreciate you joining us for all your pop culture-ness on an each and every week basis. So glad to get you caught up to date on what's going on in the world of pop culture. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my compadre in crime, indeed, for many years now. 9 big years of doing this. It is, of course, the man behind the Plucky Gamer. Also is for your esports. If you're in the Texas area and you are looking for an esports challenge, no better place to go than the Plucky Gamer. Also as well, the Happy Hoarder. You notice a theme there with his businesses. I'll just say that. But Happy Hoarder for all your pop culture collectible needs, and of course, Humanica Media himself. It is Josh the Great Peterson. What's up, man?
They're all named like they would be taverns in MMOs.
I was gonna say, I feel like if we're in the, we're leaving the Shire.
Yeah,
we're gonna meet Aragorn.
He's like, let's stop off at the Plucky Gamer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For some ale, absolutely indeed. So it is, of course, you and I right here going on. I want to go ahead and just talk about and get it going. Everything going okay, man? Everything up to date? Doing all right out there in the world of pop culture?
Yeah. I'm 5 kids into life, man. So I'm tired a lot, but I'm still managing to do some pop culture, to watch some movies, play some video games, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, fair enough indeed. It is, of course, the Pop Culture Cosmos. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for listening around the world. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on the Pop Culture Cosmos as well. Truly appreciate you joining us. Let's get into business right now. And it starts off, Josh, with something you and I like to talk about from time to time. It might as well just demons. Demons are the thing when it comes to 2025. We all know about, of course, what's going on with Netflix and how they're fighting demons there with K-pop Demon Hunter just becoming one of the biggest things ever for 2025 in pop culture. But also, demons are also getting slayed by the Demon Slayer because, of course, that has been a huge hit overseas and finally hit in the United States domestically here this past weekend. And it is actually the biggest anime movie of all time as far as the opening is concerned, with $70 million estimated as far as the U.S. return, 33 million of it alone on Friday. That alone topped the entire weekend for any anime movie, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, it is absolutely the biggest anime opening ever in the United States. It has now garnered $400 million, I believe, worldwide. It's now north of 400 million, according to the Hollywood Reporter. It is absolutely done fantastic. Your thoughts on this, my friend, and I will go into my thoughts because I actually saw it over the weekend and I have a review for it out there as well.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm like really, I got curious about the popcorn buckets. I'm currently looking at eBay prices of popcorn buckets. So look at this. So there's like there's a bucket that has like pictures of all the people in the movie. $120. So here's the thing though, like you look at this and you're like, oh, that's super inflated, but these popcorn buckets cost like $40 a piece. So it's not like you're paying an outrageous amount more for this. You're just paying for the convenience of not having to go to the movie theater.
Okay.
But
so I'm looking at it now, and it has the sister, or that's All Experience. I'm sorry, that's my bad. So, wait, but I see it. I see it right there. Wow.
So it looks like the one from Japan is actually a lot more like desirable as a collector's item than the one that you get.
Because that is the sister, correct? That's in the sister in the box.
Nezuko, yeah. So that looks like that's like a homemade one. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy that people are like, because I mean, our local AMC. So I'm going to go see it. We're going to go see it on Wednesday. I'm taking.
Okay, fair enough. Well, they're gonna like it. It's good. It's long, but it's good. 2.5 hours, my friend. But Demon Slayer, it seems to follow a certain thing, and maybe I didn't. Mugen Train was great. I liked it because it flowed really well. I really enjoyed Mugen Train, and the series so far for me has been a really good watch. It seems to follow a certain pattern, and it followed this pattern, but I think it ultimately it's not great simply because it followed the pattern a little bit too much at the end, and I'll explain myself here. Um, I want to go ahead and ask this, if that's the case. Let me go ahead and say this. It starts a pattern where, first off, it gets the confrontation. Then it goes into a flashback. And then it goes into an inspirational message of some type. And then it goes into contextualization on exactly what's going on in the present time of this movie. So, if that's the case, your thoughts on this, my friend? The problem is at the back end of the movie, the last part of it kind of slows down. It went great for a long period of time, paced extremely well for quite a bit, but then it just like I wish it had just been shortened up by about 15 minutes or so. Maybe I think it would have been better for me as far as the ending is concerned. But outside of that, again, really, really strong, and the animation of the Infinity Castle is top notch.
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, they're dividing it up into 3 parts, right? 3 movies, I think.
Yes, you are correct. Yes, 3
Okay.
movies.
All right, yeah. So, you think about it, like the pacing is going to be off until the last movie, right? Because you're not gonna get full closure on what's going on to the last movie. But also, like, the formula for Demon Slayer, right? It's always like, we have this epic bloody showdown with this demon, and then we're gonna show you why you should feel sorry for the way that they became a demon. The path that they took in life, and that's always how that goes. And every single enemy in that show has gotten one of those like long flashback scenes, because you get to see the history of all the characters. That's something that Demon Slayer never shies away from, is the origins of every character that you come into contact. And because of that, I could definitely see there might be some pacing problems, especially when you're taking this last arc. And I don't know, granted, I haven't seen it, so I don't know where the arc ends, but I have read the rest of the Demon Slayer books, and I know I know how the story ends, and I know, there's a big fight that happens with the Muzan Kabutsuji or whatever his name is, and that's where it'll eventually go to. But yeah, like I said, like they're definitely like the entire manga has ups and downs as far as like how fast the story is moving.
I will say this again. I just wish it just shortened up the ending a little bit. Otherwise, it's really good. You'll just absolutely enjoy, especially the animation, the Infinity Castle, and how they just traverse through it, and how the Infinity Castle changes in itself. I won't go in any more spoilers than that. And of course, the battles there. I think the battles they don't focus as much on as they do in the TV shows, which was a little bit. But I think I wanted more of the battles is what I wanted, and they didn't touch on that as much as they want to. They went a lot into the backstories of each of the characters, including the demons, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. Uh, absolutely said, and I'm just going to go ahead and just say right now that I thought it is very good. So I will go ahead and say it's a really good watch, my friend. I think you should
It's
go. I
been
think you'll like it.
It's been get like critically, it's been getting like eights. I want to say 7.5 to 8.5s, like in that range, which is really good. I mean, it's not the first season of Demon Slayer was rated like 9s and 10s, but it's for being at the end of the show, it's the quality definitely has not gone down. I think people are just getting tired of, not tired necessarily, but like they've just seen it. Like they've seen the pacing, they've seen the way the story is being rolled out, and they're just like, all right, well, it's not perfect, but it's still pretty dang good.
Yeah, absolutely. So when are you going to go see it, man?
We're gonna go on Wednesday nights, and um, yeah, we're excited. I don't know if we're gonna get any of the collector popcorn buckets or anything like that, but yeah, I'm definitely am excited because I know like I've read the end of the books. My kids read the end of the books, so they know what happens. So now it's just gonna be sitting there seeing like, oh, visually how do they bring this to life? Because a lot of people were really down on the training, the to the Hashira training arc that came right
Yeah,
before this one, and whatever you say, like yeah, I mean, it was a lot of like plot filler, but the show is absolutely stunning. Like it's so beautifully animated that you don't really notice. Like to me, I don't really notice, and unless there's something that really sticks out at me as being like, "Oh man, that's terrible." Like I'm not going to notice. I'm not going to notice a few flaws with it.
yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit. The other movies that were out, though, they just couldn't hold under the weight of Demon Slayer, and the thing was, whoever was for some of these other studios that planned it on the same date, really just absolutely is got an issue because some of these movies were set up to fail.
Yeah.
And let's go into it. Downtown Abbey, um, of course, also as well. What else is coming out? Yeah, oh, of course, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, which I still want to go ahead and check out. Plus, also, of course, as well, want to go ahead and mention that The Long Walk. The Long Walk was there, a Stephen King adaptation that also suffered greatly as well.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, Stephen King was having a bad time on Twitter, so I wonder if that had anything to do with it. But yeah, it's the movie looks interesting, and I've heard that it's actually like a really well written and thought out film. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to rush to the theaters to see The Long Walk, but I'm intrigued. My brain is intrigued by what I've been seeing and hearing about it.
Well, do you think that when you put out four new movies on a weekend, there's gonna be a little bit of overlap, and people are gonna
Oh,
have to decide exactly what they're gonna see?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think it was foolish to put anything out with in front of Demon. Yeah, and it just goes to show that like American studios really, really underestimate like how popular anime is. Like they're looking at something like Demon Slayer, like, oh, our movies will be just fine if we put it out at the same time as that. And no, it's not. Like American audiences love anime, and I'm almost like it's almost gotten to the point where they love anime more than the Japanese audience does. So I think that there's hopefully I'm curious if there's going to end up being a lesson to a lot of these studios saying like, oh, maybe we should invest in some of this stuff and see how it does.
No worries, no worries. But if uh, yeah, I'm just gonna say this: if you want to go see a good movie, I would say Demon Slayer. Long Walk also got some pretty good reviews, but it deals with more serious subjects. Downton Abbey for those who've really enjoyed the series, but it might come to me as far as this finale is concerned a little bit later than I think they should. I think they should have brought it out maybe sooner.
Yeah,
But they
that was
probably
weird
did.
for me. It's been like what, 2 years
Yeah,
since the show ended.
yeah. So I think they should have brought it a little bit sooner rather than later. And then the Spinal Tap to The End Continues. I really think that should have gone to streaming. I really think it should have been put in the format of streaming. Although it's repeating the same formula. Nobody watched it in theaters in 1984 as well, my friend. So
Yeah,
if it follows the same formula, that'll be in one of the most popular mockumentaries of all time in 10 years.
right. That's true. That is true. Yeah, but I
But
mean, we're at the point now where nobody really who goes to the movie theaters anymore really remembers that movie.
yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this, my friend. Once again, it is, of course, the battle at the box office. Uh, yeah, so if let me go ahead and just bring it on as far as what's going on with um, yeah. So I'll just say this: I think it was a mistake by some of these studios. As far as like, I'm just going to say this again. I'm sorry, I'm having some issues here on the. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm getting lost here because I've got on something on the other line. But I'll just say this: weekend, I think again, if you do not go see Demon Slayer, I think you're missing out. If you're not, should you need to go see the series
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, I don't
first?
know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know where it picks up at, but I would definitely recommend watching the Hashira training arc on Crunchyroll. It's like 8 episodes. I would definitely recommend watching that so you at least have some context as to like what in the world is going on.
Okay. Well, I'll I would say at least see the last season to catch you up as well. So that would be my thing on Netflix. But
Yeah.
if you guys have any thoughts out there on this weekend of the box office and the huge success of Demon Slayer, please go ahead and let us know. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's much more to talk about on today's show. Want to go ahead and mention Nintendo Direct? All right, I want to hear your thoughts on Nintendo Direct. There was a lot released. There's a trailer for the next Super Mario Galaxy movie, Virtual Boy, uh, Metroid. What did you like so much about Nintendo Direct? Let me know in detail, my friend.
Okay, so I mean, definitely a lot. I didn't really know what to expect from this. I think, we kept questioning what Nintendo was going to do because they didn't have like a big game release for this year. So I'm glad Metroid 4 is going to be that. I was really hoping for like a Mario Kart, not Mario Kart, sorry, a Super Mario announcement, but hopefully we'll get something like that next year. We're getting a Super Mario Galaxy 2 bundle coming out, which it's weird to me that they're doing this thing with the Nintendo Switch 2 where they're re-releasing all these old games, so they're doubling up on the profit from it.
Mhm.
And I have to say that like I was like nobody's gonna pay for this, but you go to like Walmart or Target and you see like the game people are buying these things. They're buying these $90 Zelda and Super Mario games, and it's pretty crazy to see that Nintendo is basically Apple for video games.
I hear you. I hear you. It just again for me, it was just something I saw a lot. I see the future. I see what should be there. I see what should be showing up as far as it's concerned. I see what I'd like to see more of as far as someone who needs to be really brought into Nintendo. As far as, there you go. So the trailer for the next Super Mario Galaxy movie didn't really do anything for me. It's just okay, yeah, that's a normal expansion on it. I do want to say though, and do want to ask you your thoughts on the Virtual Boy accessory. How is that going to work again? I don't get it. It didn't work the first time. Why bring it back?
Well, it seems like they're trying to get into the world of virtual reality, much like the other manufacturers are. Yeah, Microsoft's teamed up with Meta, and PlayStation has their own VR set, and now Nintendo's trying to get into it. But I mean, I don't know how smart it is to take a accessory that was not successful before and try to make it successful again instead of just you know doing like a Nintendo VR.
Mhm. Well, I am intrigued. I'm intrigued to say the least with it. So I'm glad that it's piqued your interest on it. But the December, here we go with the Nintendo early December dates again, because I believe it's December 4th for the next Metroid. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. And then we got Pokemon Legends ZA, which is shaping up to look pretty good this
Mhm.
October.
Okay.
And then we have there's a few other things coming out, but let's talk about we have two big like RPGs. So we have Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade coming in January. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to perform on the Switch 2, especially with its limited hardware capabilities compared to like the PS5 and Series X. And then we have did you see the Dragon Quest Reimagined? That looks like
I did. It's a
it
Dragon Quest or Dragon Quest 7.
it's Dragon Quest 7. It's basically like a remake, but it's like it has like a
Mhm.
mixture of like hand created sets, which is like the diorama visuals, and you have these like new character animations. Like I don't, it looks like it's a completely different game, and I think they're trying to do kind of like what they did with the Final Fantasy VII remake. But I'd be really curious because Dragon Quest VII was actually the first Dragon Quest game I ever played, so I'd be curious to, I'm interested in definitely going back to that at some point.
Same here, my friend. It looks like something that's going to be very interesting. So I'll ask you: was there anything else from the Nintendo Direct that really pointed out to maybe you're interested more as far as the new Fire Emblem game, Pokemon Pokopia, plus the Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC? You know what? That is what was most impressive to me is that DLC is already out already for Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Okay, you know what? I will say that like I've loved my time with Mario Kart World, but the
Mhm,
best game I played on the Switch so far is definitely Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like that's the one I've had the most fun playing, and
mhm.
I am definitely I'm down for some more DLC to go back to that world. Like I appreciate that Nintendo is really, they're charging $70 for a game, but they're really making sure you get your money's worth out of it. And I'm not sure if I mean, hopefully they don't charge you an arm and a leg for it, but I think that
Mhm.
that's going to be, that's kind of the way the future of games, right? It's not games like a, not necessarily games as a service, but like you, if you're going to pay that much money for something, you should darn well have a reason to pay that much money.
That's true. That's true. But there's a lot of good options that Nintendo's made up. I think for me, this is one of their best directs that they've had in a long time. It showcased that they're ready to bring out a lot of good stuff. And for the Nintendo Switch 2, which, as you and I both know, got off sales wise to a great start. But if you're talking about as far as what you're saying, what you're seeing with the amount of the lack of games that came out of it, the lack of original games, the lack of new stuff that came out that was good. I'm really intrigued by what I'm seeing now. I'm not yet totally diving in the water, but it's more interesting to me, Josh. It's more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that the launch so far for the Switch 2 has been strong, and I think these directs this direct definitely helped appeal to gamers of all interest. And we'll see what happens when January rolls around. When they do, usually it's like January, February, they do something to kind of like get you to look forward to stuff coming throughout the rest of the year. So we'll see if they can keep up the momentum. I mean, I'm still seeing that the Switch 2 units are selling really well in stores and online, so they're definitely doing something right.
So, what are your thoughts out there on the Nintendo Direct? And like Josh said, they're still selling a ton of Nintendo Switch 2s and obviously setting themselves up for the holiday season. Some really good things coming up, including just after Black Friday season on December 4th, Metroid Prime. Well, Josh, this is the test for Metroid. If it will sell, finally will sell to the satisfaction, because that's always been like Metroid's been like the kid brother or the child you really don't want to talk about very much because it sells. The one on the Wii sold, I thought, good, but I guess for whatever reason that it's never been a priority.
It's
Metroid has never been a priority to Nintendo. This will determine to me if it ever will be a priority for them again.
Well, you think about it though, Metroid is not Mario. Metroid
Mhm.
is not Kirby. Metroid is not Donkey Kong. Like it appeals to a very specific section of Nintendo fans. And I think that that's why it has not really been like a mainstay priority for Nintendo. And this is, I but they're expensive games to make. So I think that this is where we're going to see like, if Metroid 4 does not do well, I have high doubts that we're going to see any more Metroid games for a very long time, because they're putting a lot of risk into this game. Like this is going to be their holiday game. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll really see how much power the Metroid franchise has left in it, as far as like a pillar of the Nintendo lineup, and that'll really determine the future of it, I think.
I agree with you. I don't know. I really don't know what the future holds for Metroid. I know, like you said, there's a very targeted base that loves this game. I thought the version on the Wii was really gonna be the breakout for Metroid, but it never I thought it sold enough, but I guess it didn't, because the follow-up after that, uh, didn't come for a while and didn't set the world on fire with the sales. And
Yeah.
then obviously another long gap after that to bring you Metroid Prime 4. So I don't know. I just think at this point, it's put up or shut up with this game. If it has to sell and has to sell now. It's been put on the Prime Nintendo first week of December release date period.
Yeah.
So it's going to get some of that Christmas bump up. It won't get the Black Friday bump up, but it'll get the Christmas bump up. So if it doesn't get the sales in December, I don't know where that series is going to go.
Yeah. I agree. I guess the big question here is, do you think we'll see a bundle, a Metroid bundle come holiday season, or do you think they're gonna just lay it all down on the? Because I know there's a Nintendo, or sorry, a Pokemon ZA bundle coming out, so maybe they just lay down the line on those ones. That seems like a safer property, but we'll see.
You know what I would have done actually in hindsight? I would have actually bundled. I would have bundled that game, Metroid Prime, with the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, and then sold Mario Kart separately.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would have kind of forced people to buy it and play it, huh? Smart.
That's the only way I can see it selling to a mass audience, in my opinion. I just don't
Yeah.
think, like you talked about, it's a niche market that wants the Metro game. I thought the chance that it had to reach out to a broad market was on the Wii when everything was blowing up on
Yeah,
the Wii. And
right.
I thought it sold enough copies, 10 million plus copies, but obviously it wasn't enough to endear itself as a permanent foundation for Nintendo. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this is at. I think it's the key part. It's like the icing on the cake for a really good 2025 for Nintendo. So we'll see if Metroid can score well when it comes out the first week of December. I'm curious about the Virtual Boy because the Virtual Boy games are going to be on as part of the Nintendo Switch 2 platform, and they're going to have an accessory that has a actual Virtual Boy setup.
Hmm.
I remember actually because when I used to sell electronics back in the mid '90s, it came out. We had a display of that Virtual Boy, and just to see it at that point in time, back then it was like, "Ooh, red! Look at the red." Now it's just like, "Oh, look at the red! Look at the red."
Yeah, yeah. I had a couple of friends who had the Virtual Boy, and they used it for all of a week, and then it just became an accessory that sat in the cabinet while they went back to playing other things that didn't need it.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, I'm kind of intrigued by it, so I want to see what happens. But it is, of course, Nintendo Direct. They had their latest Nintendo Direct with a lot of stuff coming up. Tokyo Game Show is next week, so I'll check to see if they're doing anything else. But if you're interested in what Nintendo is up to, they did have the Nintendo Direct. Did you like the fact that they're now bringing back Super Mario Galaxy? There was just a teaser. Of course, I had Chris Pratt there, everybody's favorite Mario, and I'm being totally kidding when I'm saying that. But if you have any thoughts on that or anything else that was talked about during the course of the Nintendo Direct, please let us know. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Well, 1/2 hour down, 1/2 hour to go here. Josh, the great Peterson, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Josh, I got an apology for you because I'm running simultaneously our regular program, Talk Studio, and the guys from the Lakerholics actually messed it up. I think something. I don't say they messed it up, but some type of internet glitch happened. So I had to actually simultaneously start it up for them while I'm doing this show here. So you'll hear that.
Oh,
I
you're
know you were wondering like the the pauses and the hesitations on my part, so I apologize to you on that. So
You're
now I have two old guys talking basketball in my head while we're talking simultaneously. How much better can I get in podcasting? I'll tell
yeah,
you.
you know, the voices in your head are real, man.
This time they are absolutely indeed. But I want to continue on before we get into Paramount, before we get into Borderlands 4, and before we get into Spider-Man. I want to ask your thoughts because I would be remiss as a friend if I didn't ask. Are you caught up to date on Alien Earth?
I what was the last one? So I did watch the last one to come out, I think.
Where everybody is, all the aliens are starting to get loose.
There Oh man. So I watched the one with the crash ship and I don't know. Oh man, I don't know.
I don't think you're
Oh,
caught up yet.
no. I saw the one where like the girl is starting to like lose her mind, the little like redhead one. Is that the episode you're talking about? And they're
Yes.
singing. Okay, then yes, I have seen up to that point. Yeah. So I did watch that episode. I saw the it ends with them making you think Timothy Oliphant's onto that kid who has the other cyborg talking in his head and yeah, I actually I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I feel all these weeks are like blurring into one. I don't know if I'm caught up or not.
I'll
So
just say this: there was a face hugger involved on the last one, and if you're working with these beasts, let me just ask you this: don't you know if there's a face hugger in the room, which you know because it's a lab and you know they've been there? Would you not be just going like this the whole time?
or wearing something that would like keep your mouth from being exposed. That's the one thing I
Humans
never.
are so dumb. The
Yeah.
humans are always so dumb in alien movies. It's just absolutely mind
No, one
blowing.
thing I never understood. I will say that like I am enjoying the fact that there are other creatures in this because like I'll be honest, like I love the alien movies, but you get bored of the xenomorphs after a while. But the eyeball thing is actually really intriguing, and I'm hoping at some point they'll show us like what in the world the plant thing was from the first episode. Like show us a little bit more about that. Like I want to see more of these things. Like I want Alien to like be actual like aliens.
I've talked about before with you how much I enjoyed the production value of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really A plus for me. The CGI for the most part has been good. There was one exception in this latest episode was the flying bugs thing. The flying bugs, I think it's a little too cartoony.
Yeah.
If but outside of that, everything else is good. The flying bugs play a role in this last week's episode. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that if you haven't
Okay.
caught up on that already. But kind of look a little bit too cartoonish.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even like the little the blood suckers. Like, is that what you're talking about? The ones that like on the guys' necks. Like those ones looked a little cartoony. Also, granted it's a streaming show, so you're not going to have the full budget of like a movie, but it's still I think they've done pretty well for what they've been working with.
Exactly. So if you have any thoughts on Alien Earth as it gets closer to the
Penultimate
end of
episode.
the series. So, well, I'll just say that if you get close to the end of the series, it'd be interesting how that plays itself out because it's almost almost right at the end. The battle that we want to see is coming up. Uh, it's coming up right there. So I want to ask this: uh, you're enjoying your time so far, but is it fitting into the timeline better for you now? Because that was still a deal with me in the timeline, as far as
Yeah, I mean, I think as the show's gone on, like, granted, it sounds like I probably haven't seen the last episode. Like I said, man, days are all blurring into one here. I'll sit down and watch it this week though. But I'm like,
fair
I'm
enough.
starting to care less and less about where it fits into the timeline because I'm so enamored by what's happening in the show currently. And I think once it's over, then I'll go back and start thinking about the pieces and what fits where and all that good stuff.
Well, I will go ahead and say that it is a good time so far. The production values are off the charts. I'm enjoying myself, and I know that Josh is too. He said he and I are going to catch up on Alien Earth together on that. So we're getting closer to the season ending of Alien Earth. I don't even know if they'll extend it or renew it for season 2. I don't know if they can or whatnot. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
But it is pretty good. It's been getting good ratings. So if you guys have thoughts on Alien Earth, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we get into Paramount, Warner Brothers, some really serious stuff, my friend. Borderlands 4 came out this past weekend. Solid reviews on it. 2K, this is still trying to be one of the foundational pieces for 2K as far as along with the sports games. And of course, what we give with Rockstar and what they put out. Your thoughts on Borderlands 4? I mean, is this a good return to Pandora? More of an open world type game? Is this a return back to good form outside of what happened in Borderlands 3?
So it's interesting because it's a new planet this time. It's a planet called Kairos, and it takes place on the planet's basically like a prison planet. And word has gone out, or word has reached these vault hunters that the tyrant who's running it has like a vault somewhere that's giving him eternal life. So that's when the story of the vault hunters comes into play. But it's interesting because it takes place on a different world that's not Pandora. It kind of serves as like a soft reboot of the series. So you land, you still have the psychos, but they're psychos. They're not called psychos. They're called, they refer to them like crazies, and they're crazy for a different reason. You have like the same like creatures are like the skags, but they're not skags, right? And the same thing with like the racks, but they're not racks. So it's almost like a soft reboot for the series itself, and which I think is smart because like Borderlands 3 was not a it wasn't a good game. Like I did not like it, but I got on last night, played with Big Dog actually for a while, and I was way back, man. I was years back in when I was working at Best Buy playing with Brian Kane and Big Dog and my brother. But it's fun, man. And like the my one complaint is that they're trying to be too much. Borderlands was a very intuitive game. It's very excessive to people who just weren't good at that style game. This game, there's just so many menus to trickle through while you're working on like your skill trees and all that stuff in your backpack. And instead of like using Moxie to upgrade like your backpack space and your ammo capacities and all that, it's all this like little robot that follows you around, kind of like the BB-8 unit in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of changes. They're not bad changes, but it's just changes that'll take a lot of getting used to as I'm still, getting in there and trying to play the game. So far I like it. It is very reminiscent of Borderlands 2. It's just how do you be a modern game and still appeal to what people loved about a game that came out 20 years ago? That's kind of where they're trying. And like I said, I don't hate it. It's just it's a learning curve for me, but I am enjoying my time with it. There's a video somebody released. They're like, man, I paid good money for Borderlands 4. I wasn't expecting these kind of glitches, and it shows this character like falling down this little platform thing, and all of a sudden he ends up in the wagon in Skyrim. Like that was was
That's funny.
funniest
That's
thing
really
I've ever
funny.
seen. Yeah, but
Oh my
definitely
gosh.
it's definitely worthy of the eights that it's been getting. Seven, I think 7.5 and eights across the board. So I think that's definitely worthy of that title. But once I get further in, I'll be able to talk a little more about it. But I am enjoying my time with it so far.
So how many hours have you put in?
I'm 3 hours in right now, so I'm
Okay, so you're
barely
just
scratching the surface of
okay.
what this game is.
I heard that even though it's an open world, there's still a lot of invisible walls preventing you from going into places where you should be going to. That's kind of concerning. Uh, does it concern you at all?
Yeah, it's like I haven't reached any of those yet. If you look, so the original Borderlands games, like even Borderlands 3, everything was like sectioned off. Like you would go like, oh, here into the arid Badlands, and you had to go through a door that loaded up an entirely new world. Here, it's all just one massive map. And I
Mm,
think that there's walls that prevent you from going to certain places until you've completed certain beats in the story.
okay. Uh, but I agree with you what you said. It is very difficult for a game to retain its feel from what it originally made it popular in the first place while trying to modernize itself
Mhm.
for new audience. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You're trying to get us back in who like the and originally experienced the first games,
Yeah.
but yet you're bringing an audience of younger gamers or trying to bring in an audience of younger gamers and get them to like it too at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's definitely where their work is cut out for them. And I mean, so far they've done they've done a pretty decent job. It's just in the like if, for example, here in the Borderlands 2 and 3, like you had your menu system, you press select and you press like right bumper, left bumper to alternate between the different things. In this one, you have right bumpers. You have to move the bumpers and the triggers because there are different sub menus within different things. So that's been one thing where I'm trying to figure out like it's not as I can't just pick it up and go. Even as someone who has played all the other games, I have to sit here and really think about what I'm doing as I'm doing it.
Well, we will see in Borderlands 4 if it continue the type of success from at least the first two Borderlands. Then it went crazy with the DLCs, the side stories, things of that nature, the Tiny Tinas, things, it went into a different direction, I think, than the series should have gone. But of course, that's 2K for you. They're going to try and bleed every dollar that they can,
Yeah.
which is they freely admit. So there you go. So um, I don't know. This is getting solid reviews. I'm expecting solid sales for it. But is there a place for Borderlands to go, or is it just going to be more of the same if it continues on?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like I like this style game where I can just go out and do what I want when I want. And there aren't really a lot of games out there that offer that sort of gameplay anymore. So it's like I get the point of view. People are like, well, you've played one Borderlands, you've played them all, and like I understand that point of view, but also like there's anyone seeking that type of experience, there's not a lot of other great places to go to get it. So I think Borderlands provides a service to people who want to play that style game, but also uh if a game doesn't evolve, it's not the formula is not broken, so they're not trying to fix it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that it started off with a great formula. So you're right. How tweaks maybe, but you don't want to tweak it too much because it was a great formula to begin with, and it does provide again 4-player co-op that one of the few games consistently over time that has done a great job at doing that. Just the storytelling, the narration, and then also since this is a more open world type format, how does the world feel to the players? But so far, like you said, getting solid reviews, getting the eights right around there. Let me go ahead and get the Metacritic score for it, but really, really good, solid for the most part. I saw IGN give it an 84. Yeah, so solid, really solid right there. And I think if people once they're done, or you know, I guess frustrated enough getting killed too much in Hollow Knight Silksong, they'll go back to something more traditional like
Yeah.
a Borderlands 4.
Right. Yep.
Absolutely. So, what are your thoughts out there on Borderlands 4? Is it a worthy successor in the Borderlands saga, or did you want something more out of your Borderlands? Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. My friend, before we get into our Marvel list continuing and we head on out, let's talk about something a little bit more serious. Paramount. Paramount, since they were taken over by the Skydance community and the Skydance, I guess, venture capital firm and all that, they have gone on a spending spree. Just beforehand that the merger went through, you have Trey and Matt from South Park. They were paid over $1 billion. Um, I don't know what the price tag for the Duffer Brothers was, but getting them over from Netflix was a pretty penny. And then, of course, they spent the $7.7 billion on the UFC. Now they have their sights set on buying Warner Brothers. And I mean buying Warner Brothers, the whole thing, man. So, what are your thoughts on Paramount possibly taking over Warner Brothers?
I don't I don't foresee it going through. Because Warner Brothers was literally just bought by somebody. So I don't think somebody would put that type of money into purchasing a company if they didn't intend to keep it. But
Okay.
I I don't know. I mean that, but also there's been no reports of it being shot down. So what the big question here is, what will the Federal Trade Commission say about this? Like, how many companies is too many companies? And is something like this sustainable to own all of these streaming companies? Because look at all the companies that HBO or Warner Brothers owns, right? It's Discovery, Magnolia Network, DIY, all these channels. So what does that create a monopoly, and is that going to be allowed to go through?
From a nostalgia standpoint, for something that happened way before even I was born, as far as the old studios, I've told you before that when I worked for the special effects company, Josh, we worked right across the street from the famous front gate at Paramount Studios right there on Melrose.
Yeah,
And just to see how, because I want, in the streaming world, Paramount Plus is far behind almost everyone else. But yet
yeah,
somehow Paramount now has the ability to buy out or have the ability to buy Warner Brothers, who's had 7 successful releases in the theaters in a row.
yeah,
They're the most successful studio this year. But from a nostalgia standpoint, it's just kind of weird for me to see Paramount and Warner Brothers do the original studios, even think about one
buying.
buying the other, because back in the day that never would have happened before you and I were born, back in the 40s, 50s, what have you, when those two were the Starlight Studios. It just that's something would have been inconceivable. But flash forward decades later, in the world of corporate mergers, I didn't think WWE was going to sell at some point in time in my lifetime either. But look what happened there. UFC, they're all under one umbrella. Last night, they held one of the most popular boxing matches of all time. That it broke a record indoors as far as for the Allegiant Stadium, but the Canelo Crawford Alvarez fight probably is be one of the most watched boxing matches of all time.
Yeah,
And that's all under one banner. It's all under the TKO banner. So who knows in this days of mega mergers, my friend, mega mergers, what they'll allow. And Paramount, again, I don't really want to go too far down the political rabbit hole, but they have a alignment with the current administration here and the FCC that could play in their favor.
yeah, yeah. It it could, yes, but and look at how many like big properties Warner Brothers has coming out right now. So I mean, what would that mean as far as like how the profits for these things are going to get split, and are they going to have to renegotiate contracts? Like, is there what? Let me ask you a question. Why do we need this?
I don't even know why we need this. It just
It's just
I
we
know
don't.
Warner Brothers wants to sell off its assets. Warner Brothers has been dying to sell off its assets for a while. It's been for instance, Warner Brother, the video game end of it, the Warner Brothers Studios, that has not been a consistent money maker in years. The what was it? Kill the Justice League, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That was a terrible misstep and a lot of money lost there for Warner Brother Games. But they did make money with the Harry Potter game.
Yeah.
They made a lot of money from that. So it's touch and go. So it is Paramount could buy that just to sell that off. But yeah, it has been wanting to, since they merged now with Warner Brothers and Discovery, now they've been trying to do everything to split it down. I don't know what's going on. I know who's running Warner Brothers. David Laszlo, and a lot of things have been said about him, both positive and negative, but it just seems like, in the past, since COVID, Warner Brothers has been a very messy place. Some of it good, some of it not so good, but it's been a very messy place as far as overall how they've been running it. Back and forth, HBO, back and forth, HBO Max, back to just when it went to Max, now it's gone to back to HBO Max. It's just I don't know which direction this company's going in, so maybe they do need someone to come in here and just buy them out and just have a direction for that company.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see the appeal, because look at all these, like I said, like all these big, both channels and properties they're getting. Harry Potter is about to become huge again. When this the streaming show comes out, and then you have your MonsterVerse and the DC universe there. Like, there's a lot to be gained from it, but it's like I said, it doesn't need to happen. It's not something that the I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not involved in the money that goes into that. I just like I hate to see these companies like consume each other instead of like creating. There's no healthy there won't be any competition anymore. There's just going to be like one day, who knows, Apple apps or Prime Video is going to end up owning everything.
When they bought MGM, I could understand. MGM was a dormant deal. I mean, just the James Bond license basically was the hallmark of the MGM. So, okay, I could give them that's fine, that. But this one I don't understand. I don't get either, Josh, because Warner Brothers, you know, again, missteps aside, they've had 7 hit movies in a row. Why do you need to sell? Why do you need to break up it just needs to be run cleaner, more efficiently, maybe. I don't know. It seems like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm trying to think. So the Ellison family owns Skydance Media. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about this company, so like I don't know like what
And
position.
Ellison was just for I think for like a hiccup earlier this week, the richest man on the planet, ahead of Elon Musk for like a day or so, whatnot. And now it's back and forth. I don't know. Yeah, this when you get up to that nosebleed as far as the cash is concerned, I at that point, who's
Yeah.
counting the dollars really?
Right, right. I mean, overall, I think there's going to be a lot of pushback from this, not just from, in the same way that Sony went after Microsoft for acquiring Activision Blizzard. I think we're going to see a lot of pushback from some of these other studios, Universal, Disney, whatever, over this possible merger here, because there's it doesn't seem like it, but one company is going to consume a massive footprint in the Hollywood industry.
So what are your thoughts out there on Paramount possibly buying Warner Brothers? Please let us know your thoughts. Pop Culture Cosmos said, yeah. But before we head out, my friend, our Marvel list continues. We're going to see Tobey Maguire, hopefully not dancing, but I'm hoping it's just the original Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, because those two, especially Spider-Man 2, really resonated still to this day. But Spider-Man 1 wasn't a bad way to start off either.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this was the first movie I ever noticed where like I sat there and thought to myself, like, this guy is like way too old to be playing a high school kid. And especially that scene with Flash Thompson. Like, I sat there thinking to myself, there's no way this guy's in high school. So that was
I
yeah, that was the one thing that really like pulled me out of this movie. But for the most part, it was a good movie. It was the first time I'd sat there and walked out of a superhero movie and thought to myself, like, I think there is a future for superhero movies after all. And it was everybody loves Spider-Man. The soundtrack was good. We had our Stan Lee cameo. The every it was they marketed the living daylights out of this movie. I remember there's video games, action figures, all kinds of stuff, t-shirts. Like, this was a movie they put a lot of care into. The film itself, like the story, like I think the story is okay, but I think there's ground that as a comic book movie, a comic book adaptation, they weren't sure how it would be received because Marvel has gone straight up into things that are fantastical, right? Like they've gone well into that realm, and I think I think here they were torn on how grounded they wanted to make this movie, and that's why Willem Dafoe's character, that end battle was so short there.
So let me ask you this. How much have the movies, starting with Spider-Man 1 and 2, Spider-Man 3, you can, again, take for that what you will. Spider-Man 1 and 2, how far did they just boost the Spider-Man franchise? I mean, Spider-Man franchise, the Spider-Man IP is the biggest of all the superhero brands out there.
Mm,
Batman, Superman, Captain America, Iron Man, they all don't come close to Spider-Man.
yeah.
Where was it at before the Spider-Man movies, and where has it been gone since? Before we head on out.
Well, I mean, it was basically just a Spider-Man cartoon on Fox Kids in the morning. You had the iconic '90s Spider-Man. You had Spider-Man Unlimited. That's kind of what how kids were being exposed to Spider-Man. I remember going to KB Toys and they had all the '90s Spider-Man figures, and every once in a while he crossed over into like the X-Men or the Fantastic Four cartoons, and that was basically what kids knew about the character because comic books weren't big back then. You could go to you had like your niche stores, you go to comic book stores, but you never went into like a Walden Books, that was what was around back then, or any sort of bookstore and found comic books in there. But now, after the advent of the MCU with Iron Man, you start to see comic books everywhere. Comic books are a lot more accessible than they once were. So I think what kids were seeing was just the cartoon. And then this movie came out, and all of a sudden, Target, Toys R Us, KB Toys, all these stores were filled with Spider-Man action figures and Spider-Man toys. And you go to Target and see Spider-Man t-shirts. And it was Spider-Man was everywhere. And this movie too, what was great about it was that it was a relatively clean movie. Like you could go and take your kids, parents could take their kids to see it and not have to worry about like covering their ears or their eyes on certain parts. Like it was they did a great, like I said, they did an incredible job when it came to marketing this movie to multiple audiences.
Great job, my friend. I enjoyed one, but I like two even more, and I know that a lot of people talk about that. Where are we headed to, though, for our next trip down Marvel memory lane, my friend? Before
Oh,
we head
you'll
on
like this one. Ben Affleck's Daredevil is where we're going next. Yeah, I know. Brace, brace yourselves.
Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. All right. You're my friend to the end on this one. Okay, I'll say indeed. But it is, of course, Josh the Great Peterson. Make sure you catch him on the Plucky Gamer, the Happy Hoarder, Humanity Media, and so much more. And then, of course, during the week, you can catch me on the Lakers Fast Break. I will be popping in a episode of Inside Sports Fantasy Football to our Inside Sports Fantasy Football listeners. And then, of course, always what we do right here. I'm hoping I could get TJ back on. I know his schedule's been tight. I know he's been really busy, so I'm hoping to get him back on the back end. I know he has a lot to talk about and say right here coming up for the PC multiverse. But yeah, just definitely a great time. But Josh, you've been patient with me. You've been insightful with me today. And the fact that I still have those voices in my head of two old men talking basketball right now still gets me to this day. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
No, hey, it could be worse. There could be two old men talking about how much they loved the movie Elektra in your head. It could always
Oh,
be worse.
thank God that's not part of the MCU. I don't have to put it on my MCU list, do
Oh,
I?
it is. It is. Yeah, Elektra was in
No.
Deadpool. They officially brought her over.
I, I, I don't know if I'll add that to the extended list, my friend. Right now, you can see I've got 38 there. I think the Marvels should stick where it is. But that's available right now at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. My thoughts, on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, my in detail, in order, best to worst. I'm hoping Josh can always go ahead and lay in as far as what he wants to on the Pop Culture Cosmos site, but also as well on his sites and if relating to the Plucky Gamer and the Happy Hoarder as well. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. Thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.